Deep emotional hook, you don't notice it happening at first. It doesn't arrive with noise or urgency. It slips in quietly between one scroll and the next, between "I'll do it later" and "I still have time." And one day, something unsettling happens. You realize hours have passed, maybe years, and nothing important moved forward. What's disturbing isn't that time was wasted. It's that it didn't feel like wasting time while it was happening. That uncomfortable feeling in your chest right now, that's not guilt, that's recognition, because this video isn't about productivity. It's about why your mind keeps choosing distraction even when you want to stop. And once you see the mechanism behind it, you won't be able to unsee it. Introduction: the psychological truth behind wasted time. Most people believe they waste time because they're lazy, unmotivated, or undisciplined. Psychologists suggest that belief is not only wrong, it's harmful. Research indicates that time wasting isn't a time problem at all. It's a psychological coping strategy. Your brain isn't failing you. It's protecting you, and that's where psychology gets uncomfortable. Because if wasted time is a form of self-protection, then the real question becomes, what is your mind trying to avoid? In this documentary-style exploration, we're going to uncover the hidden mental patterns that quietly steal your days. Not with hacks, not with motivation, but with understanding. And the deeper we go, the more personal it may feel. Chapter 1, The Illusion of Later. There's a phrase your brain loves more than any other. I'll do it later. Later feels safe. Later feels flexible. Later feels like control. But studies have found that later is not a neutral decision, it's an emotional one. When you delay something important, your brain isn't calculating time, it's calculating discomfort. That project you keep postponing isn't difficult because of the work itself. It's difficult because of how it makes you feel. Uncertainty, self-doubt, the risk of failure, the risk of discovering you're not as capable as you hope. So your mind offers a trade, short-term relief in exchange for long-term regret, and the most dangerous part, the relief feels real. Scrolling, watching, reorganizing, these activities calm the nervous system. They reduce psychological friction. But this is only part of the story, because the longer later is used, the heavier the task becomes. Not because it changed, but because you did. Chapter 2, Why Your Brain Resists Important Work. Experts believe the human brain evolved to prioritize survival, not fulfillment, and survival prefers the familiar over the meaningful. Important work often represents change. Change threatens identity. Think about it. Starting something new means risking a version of yourself you haven't tested yet. And psychology shows that the brain treats identity threats similarly to physical danger. That's why you can feel exhausted just thinking about starting. That's not laziness. That's resistance at the neurological level. Your brain is asking, what if this fails? What if this succeeds and changes everything? So instead, it nudges you towards safe behaviors, things you already know how to do. Things that don't ask anything from you, and slowly, comfort replaces growth. Most people don't realize this is happening. They think they're choosing distraction. But the choice was made earlier by fear, disguised as logic. Pattern. Interrupt. Pause for a moment. Notice how your body reacts when you imagine doing the one thing you've been avoiding. That reaction holds more truth than any productivity advice you've ever heard. Chapter 3, The Dopamine Trap. Time-wasting activities share one powerful feature: predictability. Psychologists explain that the brain craves dopamine, not happiness, not meaning, just dopamine, and modern distractions are engineered to deliver it efficiently. Short videos, notifications. Endless feeds, each one offers a small, guaranteed reward, no risk, no effort. Compare that to meaningful work, delayed reward, uncertain outcome. Your brain doesn't choose what's best for your future self, it chooses what feels safest right now. This is why willpower fails. You're not fighting a habit, you're fighting a reward system. And here's the uncomfortable part. The more you rely on easy dopamine, the harder meaningful effort feels. Not because you're weaker, but because your brain has been trained to expect ease. This is where psychology stops being motivational and starts being honest. Chapter 4, Time Wasting as Emotional Avoidance. If you look closely, wasted time often appears after specific emotions. Boredom, overwhelm, loneliness, self-doubt. Research indicates that avoidance behaviors increase when people feel emotionally unregulated. Time wasting becomes emotional anesthesia. You're not escaping work, you're escaping how work makes you feel about yourself. That inner voice that whispers, you should be further ahead, Others are doing better than you. You've already wasted too much time. Ironically, that voice makes you waste more. Because shame doesn't motivate change, it paralyzes it. And this creates a loop. Avoid right arrow relief, right arrow guilt, right arrow avoidance. Most people stay trapped here for years without realizing it's a psychological cycle, not a moral failure. Pattern interrupt. Ask yourself this quietly. What emotion shows up right before I lose time? That answer matters more than your to-do list. Chapter 5. The identity gap. One of the most painful psychological tensions is the gap between who you are and who you believe you should be. Experts call this the identity discrepancy. You carry an image of a more disciplined, focused, accomplished version of yourself. And every moment of wasted time widens the distance between you and that image. The mind doesn't respond well to this tension, so it does something unexpected. It disengages. If I can't be that person, the subconscious reasons, I won't try at all. This isn't conscious sabotage, it's self-protection. Trying and failing threatens identity more than not trying. That's why people avoid starting even when they deeply care. And the tragedy is this: the person you're trying to become doesn't require perfection, only presence, but presence feels vulnerable. And vulnerability is something the brain avoids at all costs. Chapter 6. The myth of motivation. Motivation is often treated like fuel, but psychologists argue it works more like momentum. You don't get motivated then act, you act and motivation follows. Waiting to feel ready is another subtle form of delay. Readiness feels safe, action feels exposed. So the mind negotiates: tomorrow when I feel better, next week when things calm down, but calm rarely arrives first. This is where psychology becomes practical. Small action reduces emotional resistance, not the other way around. And yet people keep waiting, because waiting protects the ego from immediate discomfort. Pattern interrupt. Notice how often your mind asks for certainty before movement. Certainty is not a requirement, it's a preference. Chapter 7. Time awareness and mortality. There's a reason thinking about time feels heavy. It's connected to mortality. Studies have found that awareness of limited time increases existential anxiety, so the brain distracts. Wasting time becomes a way to avoid confronting impermanence. If you don't think about the future, you don't have to think about endings. This is why moments of clarity often arrive late at night, or during loss, or during silence. When distraction fades, time becomes visible again, and that visibility can be frightening, so the cycle resumes. Chapter 8. Reclaiming time without force. Here's what psychology does not suggest: punishing yourself, forcing discipline, shaming distraction. Those methods increase resistance. Instead, experts emphasize awareness over control. When you see time wasting as information rather than failure, something changes. Each distraction points to an unmet need: rest, clarity. Reassurance, meaning when those needs are acknowledged, not suppressed, behavior shifts naturally. This isn't about becoming hyperproductive, it's about becoming honest. And honesty is uncomfortable at first, but it's the only thing that actually works. Final reflection. The quiet choice. At some point, you'll face a quiet moment, no motivation speech. No dramatic turning point, just a simple choice: to stay numb or to stay present. Time doesn't demand urgency, it only asks attention. And the most important work you'll ever do is not managing time, but understanding why you give it away. Because once you see the pattern, wasting time no longer feels neutral. It feels like a message, and what you do with that message is entirely up to you.